So, SQL Server Performance Tuning Made Easy. Why did I come up with this title? And what we are going to do, cover into this one. So, before we do that, I have to tell you one thing. What do? I do only one thing. One thing which is, well, yes, I have few of you said blogging. Yeah, that's what I do. In that case, I'm doing two things. First thing I do is blogging for sure because I like to help. I like to share what I learned. But second thing, which I do to just earn my bread is performance tuning consultancy. That's it. One thing only. Like a lot of people said, you do that? Do you do that? No, only one thing. And now the reason I do that is that because this is the need for every single organization. Anywhere I go, people say, "Oh, performance is slow," or even though their performance is not up to the mark, you know what? Every single place can use a little bit more performance, isn't it? I was going through the supermarket and my daughter told me, Dad, I want a peanut butter. And when I read that, it does say on a peanut butter that there is nothing in the world which cannot be fixed by 1 spoon of peanut butter. When I read this thing, I was like, that's true. There is not a single application out there which cannot be fixed by little bit more performance. Every application can use bit of performance. So today we are going to talk about that. So with that, I think let's jump in. This is Pinal Dave, and I write on the URL which you see on the screen. And thank you very much, Nitrosphere, for making this happen. You guys are wonderful that you just invited me to just talk about this topic, which is so dear to me. So let's go to our real world scenario. This is something which I've taken from one of the things which I do is I help newbies or mentor the people who are just beginning. So this is a true story which is taken from that. So one of my friend who was just beginning, I was little bit into the performance tuning area, and he's just beginning in it. He got a job into prestigious organization, and he was like, "All right, I have to start working on performance tuning." And what happened is this: he joined this organization where his boss hired him and said, "You know what? Go ahead, you are hired." And he was so happy. The organization was big, SQL Server was used here and there, and everything was good till the very first task assigned to him. And this is what happened. The boss, being boss, they were nice in the beginning, and sometimes they just stay nice all the time. But they give you the tasks which are complicated, not easy, and they want you to fix it immediately. And their application was running slow. So boss just went ahead and said, "You know what? I think your first task is going to fix SQL Server performance tuning." And the kid was just beginning. What is he going to say? Is he going to say no? You know what? On theory, on the paper, all the experienced people always say it's a good idea to be honest. If you do not know anything, just say no. But does it happen in reality? What happens in a reality? We just say yes. I think that's yes, boss. That's where the word came from. Like we hardly hear no, boss. Every single time it's all about yes, boss. So then he is just confused. Where do I start to tune my system's performance? Now, there are a few things. It's just straightforward, which just works, and you can just get immediate performance. So he reached out to me, said, "Pinal, I need to do something. I need to prove myself. I cannot say no. I need to do something important, critical, and so impactful that my boss is impressed by me. Can you show me something?" I was like, "All right, you know what? You need to help friends, and that's what the friends are for. So let's start." So with this, I would like, oh, this is me, isn't it? Looks good. This is me. Yeah, by the way, I like my wife and daughter together drew this one. So I'm very happy with this particular caricature. Now let's see our very first demonstration. So in a chat window, I would like you guys to see that what is have you ever faced a scenario where your boss wanted to get better performance, but you didn't know to where to start? Just write anything and I would be reading that. And if you have any question, just jump in, post it there, and I will read and answer. Well, very first question I received, and you know what? This is called coincidence. Maybe you just read my mind, or maybe I read your mind. Like very first question, as soon as I post this one, the question which comes is that I just upgraded my SQL server to a new version and it's not working properly. So the same question to the same guy who sent me this message and question, what version from what version to what version you updated? So did you upgrade it from 2005 to 2008, from 2012 to 14, or any of you using 16? And are you facing performance trouble after upgrading? What would you do? Man, I can tell you so many things when you upgrade, but there is definitely a good starting point. And let's talk about that with compatibility level setting. This is fun, this is good, and this is gonna to be my very first demonstration where I will show you, well, how you can get instantly better performance when you upgrade for 2012 to 2014. So let's start with our demonstration. And here I have my first demonstration listed in front of us. So here it is. So what we are going to see is very simple scenario. I am just increasing fonts by bit so you can see that. And all of you probably know that Microsoft has just retired AdventureWorks, and now we have Wide World importers. Personally, I loved AdventureWorks. Most of my demonstration was built for AdventureWorks. But you know what? I think change is the only constant, and we all should be just okay with the changes, right? I mean, we need to accept change is going to come, and we are going to overcome all the changes, and that's why we are special. And that's what we are going to see when you change your SQL Server from previous version to the latest version. I mean, you get instantly poor performance. What was the reason? Well, I do not know what was the reason, but I can tell you a very impactful setting. By changing that, you can get immediate performance, and that's called compatibility level. You can see that over here. So what it is in a SQL Server, we have this particular setting. When it is set to 110, it represents to 2012, and when it is set to 120, it is set to it is mapped to 2014, and when it is set to 130, it means it is running algorithm which is good for SQL Server 2016. Now, two of you ask question like why numbers are like that. Well, again, please note I did not selected the name and numbers, and again, just take them. We are a programmer, right? That is how it is. So this 110 is for 2012. I memorized it. You will remember it too. And let's start with this one. So what it is that first time I'm going to run this query with compatibility level for 2012. Second time, the same query I'm going to run for 2014. Right after that, I'm going to run it for 2016. Please note, it's the same database, same query, and I am going to run the same query into the same window. Everything is same. My machine is same, but none of this query will be cached because when I change these particular settings, all the cache is removed for that particular database. So please note, it's not about caching. Nothing is coming from cache. Now, I'm going to do another thing also, and I would like to see how many of you know what this particular setting do. Please write it down in a chat window so I know that you know about this one. This is very fun stuff. This is how I do performance tuning when I go to my customer place. So question is, do you know what statistics I own do? And just type it up in a chat window. Just fun to read what you guys want to share. And I see we just crossed the number to very interesting. I see lot of participation. We just crossed the wonderful 3-digit number. And oh, I see a lot of people do not know what this one do. Well, matter of the fact, it will give us statistics related to this particular query which we are going to run. And the statistics will be how many logical and physical reads. Well, physical reads is good thing, but right now we are going to only focus on logical read. So statistics IO is very important for performance tuning. So remember this, take a screenshot of it, just memorize it, or just come back to me. And this webinar is also being recorded, so you can watch this thing again and again. And I received some cool questions, so we will talk about that very soon. So now we have set statistics IO, which is on, which will show us the statistic for the query. And I am going to enable the execution plan by just clicking over here. Wonderful. Now we have execution plan, we have statistics IO on, we have queries ready, our database is ready. I am going to run everything in a single go. That means this query is gonna to run 3 times, because and it is gonna to show us exactly same result. Now our task would be to go back and see which query did well. I mean, if technically it's the same query running on the same database in the same session, everything is same, server is same. All these 3 queries we ran has 3 results said. All of them will have same results there. All of them will have a same percentage of performance. What I mean by that, this will take, the first query will take 33% of the resources. Second query will take 33% of resources. Similarly, the third query will take 33% of resources if all the 3 query just done same task, if they do the same kind of resource consumption. But do they do the same kind of performance resource consumption? Trust me, not, right? I mean, think about it. Otherwise, why would I be showing you this demonstration? That's gonna be some improvement. You buy a new computer, you buy a new phone, we buy new stuff only because we want better performance, right? I mean, there are some times when you upgrade it in a phone nowadays like that, it gives you poor performance, but those are the exceptions. So coming back to this one, now I ran the same query. Our result said, let's see which query does better. The top query has same query with the algorithm behind the scene of 2012, 2014, 2016. Now let's click on execution plan and see the wonderful number in a second. Look at this. The top query took 42%, the second query took 38%, and the bottom query took only 20%. Here the percentage is actually query cost. So higher the cost of the query, means poor performance. So here answer is 42% is really, really bad. 38 is a little better than the 42. And the last one, which is 20, that does amazing performance. So clearly see, just changing this one setting, how I can get amazing performance from this query. So you can see this is a magic setting. When I told my friend to change this one, he came back to me, said, no, everything run perfectly fine and things are now running faster. I said, good. And then he came back to me, said he was worried, like a couple of you are already testing it. And the funny part is that people, that he was like worried with us. He shared the same concern, which I see in a chat window. And that is like, I did this thing, but do you think it will break anything behind the scene? Answer is no. It may break something behind the scene if you are using a code which was deprecated in earlier version. So what I mean by that is, if you are using a code which is for 2012 and that is no longer supported in 2016, then that part of the code will break. You will have to go and fix it. But trust me, I have over 350 consulting projects done in the last 1 year. That means pretty much one consulting project every week. And out of that, around 50% of time, I went ahead and changed this compatibility level. And they immediately get performance, nothing broke. Because think about this way, most of the people do not use those advanced stuff. There are only few scenarios which are very, very specific, sometime in 2000 and then 2005. There are some of the specific scenarios, then things breaks, but that's out of the code right now. I mean, those are the very, very, very edge scenario. 99% of the time for normal people, for a normal system. When I say normal, means you have not, it's not, doesn't mean that you are saying normal. Our system, everybody thinks their system is special. But when I go out and say, let's change it, they'll say, no, our system is special. Well, for you, it may be special, but I am a doctor. I do this every single day. And I totally understand your love and care for your system. But for me, I just feel like, okay, I've seen this before. Sometimes people come to me and say, we have a large database. It's like, how big it is? We have 1 GB of data, and one of the largest table is 20 MB. And I was like, oh, really? They sometimes think, wow. But I've seen them all. And from my experience I'm sharing today, I'm not trying to tell you this thing just out of the blue because I feel like telling you. This is definitely coming from my experience. I've seen this thing. Changing the setting gives you immediate performance, and most of the time, 99% of, as I said, in last 2 years, there is not a single customer of mine we changed the setting and it created problem. Now, a couple of you said, if you are running on a 2016, why would you change the compatibility level to earlier version? No. That is not what I am talking about. Think about it. When was SQL Server 2016 released? Last year. All right. So I think I think the product which is kicking me out again and again, where my internet is very, very strong. So don't worry about it. It's just 1 minute. I didn't say anything because this product is so good. It's saying, hey, we are not transmitting your audio, but you can just continue working on a video. I was like, funny enough, most of the time, what happens? Most of the time, the video stops and audio continues, where it was warning me that, hey, we are transmitting your video, but audio is cutting off. Well, anyway, we are back. So this setting, there are two kind of scenarios where people are not aware of this one. So if you go to options, here you can see this particular setting. So if you are using earlier version of the product, right? If you're using earlier version of the product of SQL Server 2008, you might have set this one to 2008, and you might be just running your system with poor performance. But then you can go and change it to next version, and immediately you get performance out of your system. Now, a lot of you ask me, do we have to restart the SQL Server for having this particular setting into action? I have answer for you. No. Look at this. When I change it between version, did I restart a SQL Server? No. You can just do things fine into the same version. It's just fine. You don't have to restart it. You don't have to do anything. If you set it to 120 and you are just not happy, you can go back and change it to 110. That's it. It just works. It doesn't break anything. It doesn't change any algorithm under the hood for SQL Server. It does not change any data. Just rocks. Just works. Yeah, no worries, my friend. You feel free to ask me questions, because the point is we want to talk together. So now let's look at this one. So this is the setting. You want to go and check it. If you upgraded any database, go check it and you will thank me. Matter of the fact, when I go for performance tuning consultancy, there are 18 of the settings like this which you want to work on to get immediate performance. This is just one of the setting. So now let's discuss something more. Are you guys all cool? If you have any question, do let me know. And I think a couple of questions people are asking, what about cache? Well, cache is also cleared every single time when you change this setting. So don't worry about that part. So I think we are good. Now let's go to our second demonstration, and that is about statistics. Statistics is also powerful. So I went and told my friend that I am going to help you with a 14 to 18 different settings, which can give you immediate performance improvement without restarting your server. Just works out of the box, and your system is just like fast, super fast. It just runs it. And that's what we are going to learn about it. I mean, that's why you do not, I mean, there was days and time when we used to do 5-6 days of consultancy, but now the SQL Server is evolving. There are switches, there are things which you can do in a performance tuning. So here is a second demonstration to you. This demonstration is going to be very, very fast and very, very quick. Now, a lot of you people ask me, can I set this compatibility level from older version to new version. Well, if you are running on a 2008, you cannot say to your application that you cannot change it to even 2012, because your product was shipped in 2008. At that time, it had no future vision that what will be the algorithm change in a 2012. Because of that, it will not change this one. It will not be able to forecast it. But only you can change it to the backward if you need it. But a lot of people keep it backward for an older one. That was the entire point. I'm sure I see so many good comments. Thank you, guys. I really love it. You guys love it. I love it. You see, for a presenter, what we need, and some of you are lying now. You know why I'm saying? I should not say online, but you guys have said you just change it on a production server and you are getting better performance. Really? You did it while watching this presentation? Man, you are brave. I won't say live. I think I think you are brave. I would rather say good job. Yeah. Anyway, let's check the second setting. Look at this one. So what we are going to do is we are going to create two databases, and one is statistics on, another one is statistics off. And over here, I am doing only one change between them, one difference between them. For one database, I am leaving auto create statistics on, and for second one, I am leaving it off. That's the only change which I have created, which I have right now between them. Otherwise, rest of the things I am leaving as it is. Now, let's see what happens. So, two exactly identical database which I'm creating. Oh, they are already there on my system. I should have dropped them before. Just like any presenter, I practice my demo again, and again before I come online. And that's why I might have forgot them over here. But now I am creating them again. And after creating them, I am just skipping auto create and auto update statistics on and off for a database. Next thing, I am just creating some random data and indexes on both of this database and populating around, let's say, 10,000 row. Let's start with the 10,000. So these are the things which I'm doing, which I will repeat it one more time after the entire process is done. Ooh, it says invalid object. That's fine. So I think we just have to, let's start it again so you guys can all see what is doing it. So for going small, and I am running this again, that's fine. Now, what I will be doing is that I'm creating first two database, and next, I think this has decided to give me hard time this time, isn't it? Yeah, so creating this two database. After creating them, I am running this and this where it is on and off. Then after, I am keeping the statistics on for one database, creating some object, keeping it off for another object, which I'm running it right now. And now what I'm going to do is populating in both of them around 10,000 rows. So 10,000 rows are just populated in one database and 10,000 row in another database. Now I am once again turning on statistics on and enabling execution plan. And now is the time when I increase the font and you guys can see it. So we have two queries. And now I am going to run this one and look at this one. So this is the query number one. This is query number two. Let's see which one give me better performance. Hey, would you like to just go and paste your answer in a chat window? I want to see how many of you get it right. So for a top query, I have statistics on. And for bottom query, I have statistics off. Can you guys tell me which one will give us better performance when I run this together? Let's see how good your guess is. And a lot of you are saying second query will run faster. I love that one. I don't know why you are thinking, but that's a good guess because everybody who said second query run faster, you are going to learn something. Look at the top query where the batch query cost is 37 and look at the bottom query which is 63. So those who got a correct answer, well, you already guessed it right. I think you always do well in your performance evaluation because your boss might be about to say something and you anticipate them probably a little bit early and give them right answer. And for the rest of you honest people, I think Well, it's always good to learn. You are here to learn, right? So when you are wrong in a classroom, you learn. When you are in your production system, you do not want to in your production system, you do not want to be wrong. So good, you are wrong today. So look at this way. Answer is very, very simple. Leave the statistics on because you get amazing performance when you leave your statistics on for your query. Now, where is this setting? So I'm going to show you the location of the setting. Right click on a database, go to properties and go to options. Over here, you can see to setting auto create statistics. This one was false, and auto update statistics. This was false. That's why this database, any query did not give a good performance. It is good idea to leave them on and change them to true. For the database, which give us better performance, this setting was already set to true. So you can see that over here under options. So my suggestion is to leave them on. And a lot of people turn this one off, even though by default, SQL Server turns this one on. People just go and change it and turn it off. Do you know why? Because there is a myth. The myth is, I can't say myth. I would just say this particular concept, which is going on for many years, that when the auto update and auto create statistics is on during production time, if there is a lot of data inserted, it will give you a poor performance. But again, you know what? Throw all this concept out, try this one time on and see it will improve overall performance of your system. And anything and everything, there is no extra load on things. These are all the old concepts. You think about it, when you update auto create and auto update, it will scan your entire table once, but if you leave them off, you may end up with a query where you are scanning your table continuously. So would you like your table to be scanned hundreds of the time, or would you like your table to be scanned once? If you want your table to scan once, then you would just go ahead and set these two settings to on. And I can talk about this forever. Matter of the fact, I think sometimes I feel like I'm on some kind of mission to change people's these two settings. And trust me, everybody know about this setting. If you go and change, you go to the go and change your database, half of your database will have this setting off. I think this is so common. I'm little bit tired explaining this at my every consulting job, but then even though I am tired, I'm little bit ranting right now, I'm secretly happy because like this, there are 18 settings, people set it wrong, and that's how I make money. So well, I do not use SQL Tuning Advisor because it is not it's not in my preferred tool. So I would not make any comment about that. A lot of people asking about that. So I will let it pass that question. Maybe you can send me email and we will talk about it. So where can you get all the scripts and all this thing? Well, I will send you 3 very, very cool performance tuning script, but I will show you where you can get it after a while. But before that, I want to show you one more thing. I think one of the question I keep on getting is how can we figure out what are the expensive queries in a system and things. So, well, I'm going to show that one to you right now. But please note, this settings also does not require restarting your system. That's what the beauty is. Like I go to the people, there was a presentation sometime I've done, like 6 settings change you can do in a 60-second, which will improve your system's performance by multifold. Amazingly popular presentation of mine, as well as when I go to my consultancy, I present that, and people are surprised that expert hand and just few touches to your database, how it just starts running faster. But that's a good thing, right? And again, one of the more tip, you've seen 2 things, right? I'm going to show you one more tip. If you just stay with me right now in a presentation, I'll show you one tip where I reduce the query speed from 40 seconds to 12 seconds. 40 seconds to 12 seconds. And the changes I've done, if you see that, you will laugh at me. Is it so simple? But to see that, just hold on for next 5 minutes, right? I think we are just doing fine with the time, and we will see the third and final thing right now, and the fourth thing after that, where you will just love it. All right. And then I will make sure I will answer all of your questions. So here is another query, which I use it all the time. Like people call me up and say, hey, Pinal, I want a better performance in my system. Can you help me? Sure, I can definitely help you with that. But they want to figure it out. So this is the link I just posted out because you guys are continuously asking, where can you get performance tuning script? Where can you go performance tuning script? Go to this particular URL. Okay, go here and just drop your email, and my autoresponder will respond you within a 30-second with the scripts which will improve your system's performance. You must do that right away so you get performance. But coming to the point here is, look at this query. This is my dear query. A lot of people say, can you tell me in my system which queries are running bad? Which query I should start from? Where should I start tuning my queries? People are lost. So what I did is that this is very popular query. You can go on MSDN site and find many versions of this. This is the version which I modified and works. Okay, a couple of people said, what this one do? So ignore it. I think focus on the main query. When you run this particular query, what it does, right now it's not doing anything, but it will give you some information. For example, if I just run this query for, let's say, 20 times, okay, behind the scene, I'm just running this query. And now let's come back over here and see what this particular query will do. And let's see that. You can see this query is bringing up the execution count of our query. Execution count of this query is 6 because this might have run only 6 times so far. And the total logical read, average worker time, total worker time, elapsed time, and average time, and when was it created. You can see now it has run 16 seconds of the time. Yeah, so look at this one. This query is now ran 16 seconds, 16 times before, and this is my expensive query. This is the same query over here, and this is the same query which just ran. So you can see how I can read from the cache and show how many times the query ran, what is the total logical read, as well as worker time. Couple of you are saying logical read means the data which is read from the cache, and second one, the total worker time. So worker time is just, if I want to simplify this thing, you can say worker time is very similar to CPU time. Let's say CPU time. Yeah, how much CPU was consumed. So that is the one, and this is the total elapsed time, which means how long this query took time to run it, and this is average time, and when was it last created. So this is my server's local time. But if you look at the last column, a very, very cool one, it also brings up the execution plan, and you can see the suggestion. It is saying, hey buddy, you can tune this query. If you just go over here, click on edit query text, and you can see the query, or you can click over here and say missing in the index detail, and it brings up your missing index name. Hey, one thing you may want to make sure that you give here a meaningful index's name, because you know what, one of my customer place I went and I see I almost fainted. In every single table they had one index with this weird name, and trust me, if you just create this one, it will create your index with this name. You do not trust me, right? For a couple of you are laughing, try this out. Put in the parentheses any name, and your index will have a weird name. If you want to make some enemies, you can do something like this thing. So the guy, when you leave your organization, the guy behind you is so lost looking at your index name. But you know what? That's how it is. So that's a very, very good thing. So run this one, you can immediately improve the performance. Now I am going to show you something very, very interesting, very, very different. Now please note, I have a result over here, right? And we think this result will be here forever. Now when I run this next time, it may be there or it may not be there, you know. Oh, it's not there now. Where did it go? How can I depend on this one? See, my result is gone. And now it's back. Now, actually, this is the same query. Our query is here. What happened to this one? Why it is gone? If it is such a good query, where did the result go? Well, the result actually gone because something happened behind the scene and my cache was clean. If you restart your SQL server, cache is clean. If something changes which removes the data from your cache is clean. There are so many times your cache can go clean. And if you remove, then you lost all your data. Sometimes it is there, sometimes it is not there. A lot of people think it's from restart of your last time the SQL server. No, it's matter of the fact till when the cache wants to keep it. This is what stressed me out. Honestly, I love it and I do not love it. So what should I do? Now, what I can do is that I can start logging this kind of information and start working on it, and or if my query ever comes back, like if this is my query, okay, this is not on this database, but if this is the query, if I ever run this one again, okay, I run it again, and it may come back into my query right now. Yeah, it's came back, right? You will see it over here. It is there. So you have to wait. I think this is good. This query is good for instantly looking at your what is going on in your system. But sometimes this query also does not help. It's not just cool. It is good and it's not good as well. Um, hmm. So how do we do this thing? You know what? Isn't this is bothering to you? I mean, it bothered me. The expensive query DMV, when I look at initially, I was pretty excited. But now I'm sure you guys are with me. When you look at this, it gives you a little bit uncomfort that, you know, what you are seeing, if it is accurate or if there was any bad query ran in the past, what would happen? So performance tuning is critical, but that is why I depend a lot more on a setting than tuning, going to the individual queries. Individual queries are very, very good, but um, uh, the point here is to do something to change your system some way that you get better performance. A lot of you people are asking for the queries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this thing in a chat window, so you can just go and drop your email and then get this script yourself. So thanks for asking, script. I cannot paste the script in a chat window itself. The formatting goes so off and so many issues comes. I rather give you more performance tuning scripts. So just go there, drop the email, and we'll continue to the next and final part which I wanted to talk about. So now I'm going to show you one thing. Okay, question to you. How many of you want to learn? Okay, how many of you want to learn? Yeah, a lot of people said they took a screenshot. Fantastic. Now, are you going to type this thing for 10 minutes? Do that. That's okay. I think it's fine. But I rather have you have updated script and regular update. If there is any change in the script, I rather have you it. That's why I'm sending you. Just go there and download it from that script. But if you like a screenshot, if you want to type it up, you know what? You can definitely do that as well. But look at my answer my question. Who would like to see a cool thing where you can reduce your query times from 40 seconds to just 12 seconds? Just type in chat window. I want to see. Oh, good. Oh my God, so many of you. Oh, well, good. Then I'm going to show you a very quick thing about Nitro Accelerator. I want to show you this, okay? This is fun. This is good. I built a video of it, so we do not have to run it because it requires some kind of, I need a multiple machines. So, and it's very, very difficult when we are using a tool. Like you noticed it today, right? The tools, sometimes the webcast tools, sometimes fails us. So I have built this. I already recorded this one particular demo, and let's see how we can do that. So what I'm going to show you is this. Okay, so this is one of the things. So this is what we are going to see today, right now. So I am going to show you, let's say, a setup. Okay, I have a setup. A setup is very, very simple. What I'm going to do is that I have a database which is set a little bit outside from my application, and here is my application. So from application, I'm retrieving data, and my data is moving from here to the left side. So this is the setup, and I have a machine name, my machine name, where my application was 1M and my database name was Freedom. So I created this scenario, and after that, I set up the screen. What the screen is that I wrote a script, right? This is my application. I created a link server, but you just assume that this is, instead of link server, what you can do is you can assume this is your actually connection string or something like that. And that's how you are being connected. Let's assume the same way. Now, what I did is, this is what I'm going to show you is, look at very, very carefully the settings. You can see the time over here. The pings are very, very fast. They are in 2 milliseconds. And now what I'm going to do is very interesting and simple thing. I am going to run this query as it is, and we will measure how long it takes to run this particular query. And please watch, I'm restarting my SQL services so we do not have any confusion over here. Now I'm going to run the query, and I urge you that you focus on the ping, and you will see the ping going high as soon as this particular query will start running. So that's it. I am executing the script, and I hit execute, and look at my query is running, and my ping is start going to go high, and the query will eventually query will eventually take around 40 seconds to complete. So what is actually happening? So understand, while this query is running, that behind the scene there is a network traffic. Currently in my system, I do not even have a network traffic, but you can see how my ping started to go up, because now there is network traffic from this query. This query is retrieving data, and this is the case with all of us. This is the case with all of us, where we have application and database on a separate server. As soon as the query is complete, our network traffic has reduced. Then the query took around 40 seconds. You can see over here, query took 40 seconds to finish. Now that is good. 40 seconds it took to finish. Now what I'm going to do is this. I would like you to see it. It's a magic. Okay? It's almost like a magic. When I see this first time, I was a little bit fainted. So a lot of my customer, we do this thing. We install the Nitro accelerator at where the application is and where the database is. Now it's running. And after I turn this product on, I'm just resetting the counter for a moment. After I turn this one on, you can see I'm restarting my SQL server to make sure you guys do not have any doubt that data is in a cache and things. Like a lot of time people say, hey, your data was in a cache, so second time it ran faster. No. I don't want to confuse you. You just see it. Just watch it. Now I'm running this query, and please watch my pings. But while you're watching the ping, on the right side, also see what is coming up. There is a two different line. One is uncompressed data, and second one is compressed. Query done. Query done. Anybody notice it? Query done. It took 12 seconds for this query to finish, because the data which I transferred was 45 MB and it was compressed by 98% and only 1 MB. There was no network traffic. My data was compressed, and my query, which was taking 40 seconds, now took 20 seconds. So, as I said, I have over a lot of customers, and every customer I talk about this one, they have an application, they have Azure, and this also helps them out when they're moving the data out from their system to the Azure, not even, I would say Azure, but you can say AWS or anywhere in a cloud, right? Just talk about cloud. Let's not talk about specific product. So if you're sending data to the cloud, at that time, your cloud bandwidth will be also saved. And also, at that, if you're paying cost for the bandwidth, your bandwidth cost is also saved. How you can get a 97% compression and get performance from 40 seconds to the 12 seconds. Isn't that is amazing? So yeah, well, that's what I wanted to talk about it. You can do a lot of things. If you really, really like it, I would like you to leave some good feedback, or just any feedback. Yeah, right. Write a feedback to me about Nitro Accelerator, and this is exactly what we have seen it. And this is why we are going to sum it up. I think the boss was very, very happy with my friend and said, good job on the first day. And this guy is thinking in his mind, like, you know what, I'm having job tomorrow. I mean, how many times this happens, right? When you improve the performance of your application, you just know that you are going to have a job tomorrow. And that's a good thing, right? So let's try it out. Don't just be a little bit brave, but also be cautious about it. There is no delete button. My very first boss always saying, like, if I go to him and ask for permission, it's a be bold. Take a decision yourself. But then he warns me that there is also no delete button there. So be careful with that. So do the things which is extremely safe. Do not play around with a lot of where the logic changes. I think the best approach for maximum performance is like if you just go change configurations, settings, whatever you want to call it, and see you get immediate performance. Like the last option where you just install this product which is compressing your network, and you get better performance. Why not we do this kind of thing? So here is where you can get the script. Here you can download the product. So I think this is good. If you really, really like it, what is happening behind the scene? Some other day I will come back. We will talk about the stuff I love. I see over 600 plus chats. You guys are awesome. And so many questions. So we answered all the questions while I was reading it. You guys are chatting with it. Please take a screenshot of this page so you can get immediately where to get Nitro Accelerator, and as well as all the script. And I think there are a few questions is like a lot of things are happening and behind the scenes. So any question which I have not answered, I would get back to you via email, or you reach out to me. But now is the time when I hand it over to my dear friend Fred to sum it up how it entire presentation went. If you have any question, he will ask. Leave a feedback in a chat window or write in an email, and I would like to see that you try out on your development server and get maximum performance of your system. So I will see you next time, but hold on, do not leave. Some announcement from Fred. So over to you, Fred.
Hey, Pinal, thanks. That was a great webinar, and I appreciate everyone who joined us today. You can see that with NitroSphere teamed up with Pinal, you can get a lot of performance improvement on your databases. And with NitroSphere, just a quick thing, we have customers like Canon, Deloitte, British Telecom, and a bunch of others. And we'd welcome you to give us a try with a 15-day full product trial. And you can just get that. I think it was posted already at nitrosphere.com/trial. Otherwise, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you again on another webinar. Thanks, Pinal, and everybody else.
Thank you all for joining.